Therapists exist to play a vital role in supporting an individual's emotional, psychological, and mental well-being. Rachel's therapist was the opposite of that in all the worst ways.
Hey everyone, I'm Rachael, a 26-year-old woman. Around a year ago, I found myself close to complete and utter burnout. The demands of life, studies, and lingering trauma from a previous relationship were pushing me to my limits. It was then that I decided to seek help through therapy. I knew I needed to address not only my traumatic past, but also the challenges that were affecting my current relationship with my boyfriend Nathan, who's 28. Our bond had been strained due to my unresolved issues, and it was affecting both of us deeply. My sessions with my therapist, Nicole, who's 37, initially focused on my psychological pressure regarding studies and work. Over time, though, the focus shifted to my relationship with Nathan. Nicole's guidance allowed me to reflect on my emotions and needs, which helped me navigate the pressure around me better. Because I wasn't being completely honest with my therapist and her suggestions weren't working, we agreed to include my boyfriend in some sessions. These were to be one-on-one sessions so that she could get his perspective and create a plan that would take his needs into consideration as well. Yet as I opened up more, something peculiar started happening. Nicole's tone changed. Her neutrality gave way to judgment, and her questions became pointed in a way that made me uncomfortable. It was as if she was blaming me for my relationship issues. I didn't pay much attention to this shift, chalking it up to my own doubts about how I was treating Nathan. But then, the truth hit me like a tidal wave. One evening at Nathan's house, during a seemingly ordinary movie night, he broke down in tears and confessed to having an affair with none other than my therapist, Nicole. I was stunned, hurt, and utterly confused. He claimed that Nicole had exerted immense pressure on him, and they had begun having sex during therapy sessions, and that he regretted every moment of the affair. Driving home that night, my tears seemed to drown me. I struggled to comprehend how this could happen. Nathan's explanation seemed flimsy, and I wrestled with my own emotions. Days passed, and Nathan's relentless attempts to reach me through calls and messages only intensified my internal turmoil. He swore that he cherished me and that Nicole had manipulated him into the affair. Eventually, I caved and spoke to Nathan. I needed answers, closure, and clarity. We talked for hours, and yet the truth remained elusive. Was he coerced or was he complicit? I couldn't tell. The ambiguity of the situation was agonizing, but one thing was clear. Trust had been shattered. I had to make a painful decision. I broke up with him. Taking this step was heartbreaking, but I knew I couldn't continue a relationship tainted by betrayal and uncertainty. I told Nathan that if he believed he had been coerced, he could seek legal action against Nicole. But I couldn't be a part of his life anymore. It was an agonizing choice, but I needed to prioritize my own well-being. Speaking of Nicole, the person I had trusted with my vulnerabilities and emotions, her betrayal cut deep. I reported her actions and initiated a legal process against her for damages. Her manipulation and disregard for the boundaries between a therapist and a patient were unforgivable. Whether Nathan had willingly participated or not, the breach of trust was irreversible. I went to therapy to help with mental struggles, and I came out the other end worse off than I ever was before I sought help. Thank you for listening.
Thank you for sharing your experience, Rachel. I can't help but shake my head at the mess that unfolded. It's no secret that people can end up doing all sorts of ridiculous things when sex gets thrown into the mix. Frankly, I've never understood the allure. It just never seems worth the trouble it causes. The therapist, Nicole, well, she might just be one of those individuals who got into the therapy game for the wrong reasons. Maybe she saw it as a way to wield power over vulnerable people, assuming that her position would protect her from getting caught. Honestly, that's a pretty dumb move on her part if you ask me. Now, what really caught my attention was the whole idea of bringing your boyfriend into your therapy sessions because you felt you weren't being honest, and the therapist's suggestions weren't hitting the mark. And apparently this was Nicole's idea, to incorporate your boyfriend's needs into your therapy. I mean, affair aside, this whole approach is way off base. A therapist worth their salt wouldn't bring a partner into the sessions just to get their perspective. The power dynamic between a therapist and their patient is something to reckon with, even when it's just a perceived power. It's scary to think how someone in that position can influence a person's choices. And speaking of your ex-boyfriend, he's not exactly free of blame either. Sure, therapists have authority, but he had to have some pretty big character flaws to let himself be swayed like that. It's almost like Nicole used her position to manipulate him into thinking that being with her would magically clear up his relationship issues. I sincerely hope Nicole never gets to practice therapy again, and I hope Nathan eventually comes to terms with how badly he messed up. You did the right thing by prioritizing your well-being and ending the relationship. It's a shame that your journey to healing was marred by such malpractice and dereliction of duty. Stay strong, Rachel, and remember that there are better days ahead. What did you guys think? I have a feeling things like this are more common than we realize. People who get into therapy as a career are often in need of a few sessions themselves. What do you think drew them to the profession in the first place? There's a reason they have an interest in mental health. Thanks for watching this video. Stick around for more content like this, and if you're feeling generous, consider hitting that like button. I'd certainly appreciate that. See you in the next video. Bye.